Hey Taejung, what does AP stand for? Advanced placement! We're moving on to the advanced problem. An insurance company estimates that it should make an annual profit of $150 on each homeowner's policy written, with a standard deviation of $6,000. Number A. What reasons may contribute to such a large standard deviation? That's 6,000. That's a big number. All right. Well, I said, two things. High variability and maybe an outlier. So high variability, if there's a lot of variables, then yeah, it's gonna be easy to be further away from the mean because there's just so many variables. So that's one. Outlier, if you have a large number, like a huge number, huge, it will shift the mean to the right. Well, yeah, if you have a huge number to the right, which will also increase the standard deviation. B. If it writes only two of these policies, what are the mean and standard deviation of the annual profit? Well, let X1 be the profit from policy 1, and let X2 be the profit from policy 2. To find the mean, you use this number, 150, and you just pretty much add them together because there's two. So the mean would be the X1 plus X2, 150 plus 150, 300. That is the mean. Standard deviation, what's that rule? Was it square, add, square root? That's the one. Well, standard deviation here is, of course, 6,000. First, you would square them, you add them, and then you square root it to get that big number. And your standard deviation would be $8,485.28. C. If it writes 10,000 of these policies, not two, 10,000, what are the mean and standard deviation of the annual profit? Well, it's the same idea as the last problem, just with 10,000 of it. So here you can see I multiplied 10,000 times 150. It's pretty much like adding 150 10,000 times to get $1,500,000 for the mean. Standard deviation, square, add, square root. Well, I didn't want to write down 6,000 squared 10,000 times, so I just multiplied it. I'm sorry, I'm lazy. What can I do? So the standard deviation would be $600,000. D. Is the company likely to be profitable? Explain. Well, for a company to be profitable, it needs to break even first, and then it can make profit from there. So to indicate the breaking even point, I use 0 as my x, and then I did the z formula. Z equals x minus mean over standard deviation, and I found those two above. To get z equals negative 2.5, and so I gotta find the proportion. The probability that the z is less than negative 2.5 is 0.0062, which I found in the chart in the front of the book. So if you look at the picture, there's this little portion is the probability that the company will not break even. And therefore, there's a 0.62% chance of not breaking even, and a 99.38% chance of breaking even and making profit. So, yes, it is going to be very profitable.